David stood at the edge of the forest, the dense fog swirling around the ancient trees. His heart pounded in his chest as he took a deep breath and stepped onto the path. He'd heard the stories, rumors of a mysterious light that appeared only to those in need. He was in desperate need. "I hope this isn't a mistake," he whispered to himself, gripping his flashlight tightly. The beam of light barely cut through the darkness, and every step seemed to lead him deeper into the unknown. David had always been an optimist, but the last year had tested him in ways he never imagined. First, he lost his job. Then, the stress took its toll on his relationship, and he and his girlfriend broke up. Finally, the bills piled up, and he was forced to move out of his apartment. His usual positive outlook was buried under layers of doubt and despair. When his grandmother suggested he spend a weekend at the family cabin in the woods to clear his mind, he reluctantly agreed. "The forest has a way of showing you what you need to see," she said with a knowing smile. David wasn't sure what he needed, but he was willing to try anything. As he ventured deeper into the forest, the sounds of civilization faded away, replaced by the rustling of leaves and the occasional snap of a twig. Every noise made him jump, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. This was a bad idea, he thought, his grip on the flashlight tightening. Just as he was about to turn back, he noticed a faint, glowing light through the trees. His heart skipped a beat. Could this be the legendary light his grandmother had spoken of? David hesitated for a moment, then decided to follow the light. As he got closer, the light grew brighter, illuminating a narrow path that seemed to appear out of nowhere. "This can't be real," he whispered, but he kept walking. The path led him to a small clearing, and there, sitting on a fallen log, was an old man with a kind smile. "Hello, David," the old man said, his voice warm and inviting. David stopped in his tracks. "How do you know my name?" he asked, his voice trembling. The old man chuckled. "I've been expecting you. My name is Ellie. Please, sit with me for a moment." David, feeling both curious and cautious, sat down on the log. "What is this place?" he asked, looking around the clearing. "This is a place of reflection," Ellie replied. "You came here because you are lost both in these woods and in your life. But you have the power to find your way again." David shook his head, feeling overwhelmed. "I don't understand. How can I find my way when everything is falling apart?" Ellie smiled. "Your thoughts shape your reality, David. You've been focusing on what's wrong, on what you've lost. But there's another way. You can choose to see the possibilities, the opportunities in every situation." David frowned. "That sounds too simple. How can thinking differently change anything?" "Let me tell you a story," Ellie said, leaning back. "There was once a young woman named Emma who faced many hardships. She lost her job, her home, and her sense of purpose. She felt completely defeated. One day, an old woman told her, 'Your thoughts are like seeds. What you plant in your mind will grow.' Emma didn't understand at first, but she decided to give it a try. Every time a negative thought entered her mind, she replaced it with a positive one. When she thought, 'I can't do this,' she changed it to, 'I will find a way.' When she felt alone, she reminded herself of the people who cared about her. Slowly but surely, her life began to change. She found new friends, a new home, and a new purpose. Her positive thinking attracted positive outcomes. David listened intently, a spark of hope igniting in his heart. "Do you really think that could work for me?" he asked. Ellie nodded. "I know it can. You have the strength within you to change your thoughts and your life, but you must believe in yourself." David took a deep breath. "Okay, I'll try. I'll start by believing that I can find my way out of this forest." Ellie nodded. "Good. Remember, focus on the light within you. It will guide you." As Ellie faded into the darkness, the glowing light reappeared, brighter than before. David stood up, his heart lighter. He followed the light with a newfound sense of determination. Each step felt easier, the shadows less intimidating. He began to see familiar landmarks, and soon the trees thinned, revealing the path back to the cabin. David emerged from the forest, the dawn light breaking over the horizon. He felt a rush of relief and triumph. "I did it," he whispered to himself, smiling. Back at the cabin, David sat on the porch watching the sunrise. He thought about Ellie's words and Emma's story. He realized that his grandmother had been right. The forest had shown him what he needed to see. His challenges hadn't disappeared, but he now had a powerful tool to face them: the art of positive thinking. David returned to the city with a renewed spirit. He applied for new jobs with confidence, reconnected with old friends, and found a new apartment that felt like home. Every time doubt crept in, he remembered his journey in the forest and chose to see the possibilities. In the end, it wasn't just the forest that held the magic. It was David's own mind, his own belief in himself, that transformed his life. And as he embraced this new way of thinking, he realized that the light he had been searching for had been within him all along.